to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here at the Top Tier HQ. Johnny, it's very different since the last time I saw it. It's less red and white, a little bit more dark, a little more toned down, but you've brought the redness in the old outfit today, mate.
Yeah, bit blue low, isn't it? Because Smith likes Tottenham, bit blue and white, so I think he's stitched me up here, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's a bit more grown up, a bit more settled, little podcast set here, and we're going to make good use of it coming up the next few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how you deal with that Spurs fan over there 24/7, but I suppose you have to make some sacrifices. But it's been, 2 weeks now since what has got to be your best show to date. They say third time's a charm, and that certainly was. Top to bottom, you can't be more pleased with that, can you?
Nah, we feel established now as well, because, going to be honest with you, it is hard work. Like, what we go through to put on that show, this time there were so many more tasks, like timings for TV. That was all new to me, I made the card, and then 15 minutes before we're going live, they said, right, we've got to change a few times and that. But listen, we dealt with it. Unfortunately, the fight that dropped out, that helped, because if that carried on, we would have been really stuck for time. And then we had a couple first round knockouts, second round knockout as well, So yeah, with them parts of us learning, and it was definitely the best show, 100%.
And I know we did speak prior to the show about the kind of slight changes in branding, the logo, but I felt, yeah, it's there. It's
Old one.
But I felt that the whole look of the show was very different, and it overall looked more professional.
Yeah, top to bottom. So if you look at the replays of any fight, you can see me, Smith, me and Abdul. We're looking around the venue, seeing what can we improve, what can we change. Like, for instance, the table set up, bit cramped on one side, too many people there, which ain't a bad thing. But as a promotion, we're going to take like a row away to give the waitresses more space to walk through. Small changes. What goes on in the ring, I don't think you can beat it. You know what I mean? Like, we've got that on lock. Like, everything's doing the right things that we've asked them to do. 50-50 fights, So now I need to make the event more better for people watching it and people that are there to support their friends.
Yeah, let's talk about the fights then. I think there's two standout ones. The main event, Jordan Reynolds, Matt McCullum, and Tyrone King versus Lorenzo Grasso. We'll start off with the main event. When you see news articles being wrote about that, it's transcending the sport. It's being broken into not just your hardcore fans. People are talking about it, so that must be something special.
Yeah, and at the moment, like, I've got a lot of friends coming to watch the shows, and they're loving it. My daughter didn't take her eyes off it all night. She's 7. You know what I mean? And she went back to her mum's house and told her about the whole event. But what we're doing is, where we're bringing in the 50-50 fights, it's capturing everyone in the venue. So there's no way that someone there is not going to enjoy it for what's going on in the ring. It was one of the best fights I've seen live. Well, two of them were, but obviously we're talking about Matt and Jordan. It was great, and I could not pick a winner on the night, and that's the truth, And I've said this in other interviews, when you promote them, you become part of their team. And I was so close to both of them. Matt being from Newcastle, that didn't matter to me. I've got a connection. My brother supported Newcastle. He passed away. And Matt sent my mum a T-shirt, football kit, sorry. And, mate, broke me heart a bit, you know what I mean? I nearly whelped up. But lovely people, close decision, and he lost it. I don't think he got robbed, you know what I mean? It was very close. And when I scored it, I probably was a bit biased towards him on a couple of rounds to call it a draw. But it was so close. Jordan's skills are unbelievable, and he hadn't been to 10 rounds before, and he'd done the 10 rounds, which is good for him. But powerhouse in Matt, I thought he performed very well, and I'm I'm actually gutted it wasn't a draw because I would have loved the rematch on there. But obviously, if I'm Jordan and Jordan's team, I'd be like, nah, see you later. I'm off. That was too close, you know. So yeah, great fight.
Jordan, someone who you've seen on Sky, you've seen on DAZN, brought a tremendous crowd from Luton on the fight night. So obviously, you'd love to have him again, but could see him on the big shows.
Yeah, this is what we're about. We're about bridging the gap. That's not just on the type of show, it's for the boxers as well. So we really want the boxers to come on our show. Like if you look at Tyrone, look at Marley Mason. He's gone 15th in Britain. He's gone above Jordan Flynn. That's crazy, right? So now he can go on them big boy shows. Like he can go on Matchroom, he can go on Queensbury. You know what I mean? Like I wish him well, and I hope he gets on it. Like I think there might be talk of Jordan Flynn or Kane Baker for him. That's brilliant, you know. And for him to get that from my show, the boy, his shop is opposite my father-in-law's house. I see him all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's how close boxing is, and that's the gap we want to bridge. Not only for the events, but for the boxers to get out there and get on bigger shows. Hopefully they can stay with us and we be the bigger show. But for now, I know my place in the market, and that is basically an academy for the big boys.
We'll talk about Tyrone King, Lorenzo Grasso, a 2-round shootout. That was exciting. From Wembley Stadium to York Hall. I can't remember the last time I see a fight as adulating as that and just as emotional as that as well.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look at it, very controversial because Tyrone was dropped and hit illegally while he was on the floor. Now, if Lorenzo did not do that and just chilled, went to his corner, the 8 count, and then put pressure on, he could have won, you know, because Tyrone was hurt. But because he got them extra maybe 5-10 seconds, managed to recoup a little bit and then banged him out the next punch thrown, sorry. It was like a Rocky story. I jumped up, hands on my head. The whole venue was jumping up and down. I see family members who are not that into boxing go, wow, wow. You know, my daughter was smiling. And it was a beautiful moment. I see you running around with your phone. But it was brilliant. And honestly, like, it was so good to be part of, and so good because I promised everyone them type of fights. So well done to both lads for taking it and putting it all on the line. But yeah, I'm very happy for Tyrone. Like, he deserved it. So well done.
And Tyrone's someone so early on in his career, he can kind of go through that process with you because he opened the show, I think it was, on your last show, and then he comes in with a 50-50, so maybe another 50-50, and he's only progressing. Yeah,
and to be fair, progressing very quickly, so you might have to pause a little bit, you know, and have a similar type fight, similar type ability against him, and then go on for the title. I've been speaking to Bill, offering him a few, but he's got a good team around him, so his manager and his coach, like, they're not getting too excited by it. They know, like, listen, it was close because what happened with the illegal blow, or shot, sorry. So they're not going to rush. They're very sensible, and I like that about them because, like you said, he opened the show. He took a 50-50, he got rewarded. He was fighting on Sky, and then he got a knockout win. So, yeah, I'm buzzing for him. But where it was so early, like, he can't really go into a title fight because that was only 2 rounds. But on paper he can, but physically and mentally can he? So what a great team to say, let's just chill and then keep building. So, yeah.
Michal Nista, destructive. He broke him down, and he was a tough Colombian, but he did get pulled out in between rounds. He could really be something special. Just a few more fights to get under his belt, and he could be really pushing for titles.
Yeah, he's ranked in the WBC, so his plan is to go bridgerweight. So, yeah, he'll get that. I know we'll get that. What a lovely fella. He come to London, he got a London haircut, he was one of the lads, you know, a bit of a skin fade and that. Kept telling me how much he loved me, and I was okay. Nice man, great boxer. Give the boxer, he fought concussion. Quite worried about him. I'm not going to lie, it's the first time someone's been taken away in an ambulance at my show. And where you become close with everyone, even though he didn't talk English, we had a good relationship with Hearn. I bought him dinner and that, you know what I mean? Left him with Abdul. I don't know how they got on with the conversation between them, but they must have got on well. And then, so I was devastated for him. But luckily enough, the translator went with him to hospital and he was absolutely fine. They thought he had a bleed on the brain. That's why he was acting weird with the knees, but he was just concussed. But I thought he was giving a really good fight, when he was connecting. He was giving a good go. But Michal just showed his class. I'm a bit gutted that it stopped the way it did because I'm sure in his UK debut he wanted a better, classier finish than someone retiring on the stool. But that's boxing, 7-0, 7 knockouts now, so it don't matter.
I can say I actually took the Colombian guy to the venue, and he was a very nice guy. I don't know how he fit him up at Vauxhall Corsa, but I don't know how he fit in that, but he was a very nice guy, and we got through the language barrier. I don't know how.
Thank you. You and Abdul went and got me water, didn't you, when we run out?
We did. I've actually got one of your cases in the car out there because we didn't get them all. We will get them back. Or I'll compensate you the £2.25 there, Johnny. But yeah, we got them back. Moving forward then, one more show before the end of the year?
Yep, we're changing the date. It was December the 2nd, but I think a big show is going to be on that date. And I don't want to clash. I can't be clashing with the big boys. You'll all be there at this one if it goes ahead. So we're looking either 25th of November, but I think they've just texted me and said the people who have booked the venue can't move, or it might be 9th of December. Obviously on that you're going to see the return of Jordan Perkis, and I've just managed to seal Ursu versus Dujon. So that will be my main event because there's a lot of needle now. We're going to rip parts of interviews and that, put it in the build-up. They don't believe that it was ill. I do believe he was ill, if I'm being honest, but I believe he could have dealt with it a little bit earlier. But they're fuming. The other one's going to be fuming with what they've said, so that's a great title fight. And it's one that I can't wait to promote, if I'm being honest. Who else on the show? I think Jamie Robinson is going to come on. We're going to work hard, get a good fight for him. And the rest, I've got to wait a little bit, try and get the okay by the board for a couple of fights, and one from the Commonwealth as well. So there's going to be a few titles on this one.
With the Ursu Dujon, obviously fantastic to get that back on because we was all gutted, weren't we, on that Friday when it was called off. Is it going to be at the same weight? Because I know there was some worry on the Ursu team that Jordan couldn't make that weight.
Yeah, he made the check weights, so he was fine. And they've sent me photos, and Rod, the way Rod is, he said, John, he was fine. I'm telling you, just come out of hospital. And I was like, yeah, I know. I believe you. I just think the timing was very off on when we was notified, If I'm being honest, as a promoter, I'd have liked to known fight week, and I would have paid for a journeyman to be on standby just to make sure that we could fight. That's just the way I am, because Ursu spent a lot of money on hotels. He's from Plymouth, back and forth to make weight in the morning and get told. Bit shit for him, but that's boxing, and I'm learning on the job as always. And to be fair, I knew a day like that was coming. You know what I mean? I knew something like that was going to happen on one of my shows. Just devastated it was for the only title fight on the last show.
Throughout your previous media days, because they are of higher level and higher quality, but the needle hasn't been that high. There was a little bit of frostiness, shall we say, from Ursu and Dujon the first time round, but this second time round, you might have to get security for the media day, John, because this could be a bit tasty. Yeah,
I think I need it for me. But to be fair, Jordan Reynolds and Matt McCallum, they had a bit of needle, but it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. I knew they weren't serious. Yeah, I mean, they didn't worry me. They didn't worry me that it was going to kick off because they're actually really nice boys, and I think they'd get on really well. If the fight was labelled a draw, I think they'll probably be best mates now. But where they're both sticking a little digging online to each other, they're not going to be friends for a while until they fight again, which I can see happening. I mean, if I was Jordan, like I said, I wouldn't. If I had a close fight with someone and I won, I wouldn't want to do it again. So, yeah. But this bit of needle, I know will be good, and obviously there's going to be a couple more like Thomas. If he gets the fight that we're going for, that will be a lot of needle back and forth. We might set him up with a podcast in here and then kick it off in there, really. But I don't know if they'll kick off in here.
We'll talk about last Friday. I saw on your Instagram about 15 minutes up the road. The best of the small hall promoters versus the best of the big time, really. Eddie Hearn, Johnny Clark, ex-Eddie Hearn, little link up. Can you explain what was going on there, Johnny? A bit business?
I was a taxi for Lee Eaton. And he said, come pick me up, we'll go there if you want. And I said, yep, let me cancel my PT. weren't missing the opportunity to meet one of my idols, obviously. And then when I got there, he went, "Grab a chair, Johnny," and I was like, "Oh my God, he knows my name." But obviously, I was watching him for 15 minutes. I felt like I was watching one of your interviews. And then he obviously seen me a little bit quiet and made conversation with me. And I'm not that quiet normally, so I respect him for picking up on that. And then, we had quite a good chat, bit of tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, one of his shows is falling on one of mine. I asked if he could move it. He politely said no. But it's definitely a relationship I'd like to keep. I know a lot of his team through mutual friends and family anyway. But like I said, I see myself as an academy for the big boys. And one of these boys won't be out of place fighting on one of my shows. So if you ever needed someone to come out on my show, local boys, Essex, you know what I mean, more than happy to do it. And you can come and watch my boys and nick a couple of them and put them against his, you know what I mean? Because it's a good quality show, good quality fighters. And I think that's my place in the market. I'm not silly. I'm never going to go against him, am I? I'm never, in my eyes, going to be that big, you know what I mean? But I know I'm good. So I'm up to like English title level, and really they're British and above, aren't they, the big boys, because they've got the big money. But I know I'll still put on a quality show. I'm not putting myself down, but the way I see it is I'm the academy for the big boys. So relationships like that are welcome.
At this stage, where we see Eddie's got so many fighters, you've only got to look on his roster just online, and I think it's 150 plus. It's hard to get every fighter date. So is that a partnership that you would love to explore, just to kind of loan a couple of fighters here and there, just make sure everyone's active, everyone in the boxing world's keeping happy?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Obviously, it's a bit hard because at the moment I've got December's done. You know, there's 11 fights. That's done. And then February now has got 4 fights lined up already. So it's hard, but it's obviously something I would absolutely love to do. You know what I mean? Both ways. Like when I said I want to bridge the gap from small hall to big hall, that isn't just putting on the shows. It's actually giving someone a platform to get to Eddie Hearn, to get to the other boys. You know what I mean? But being Essex, it just makes sense, really. And obviously, now he knows my name, I feel better that stuff can happen.
On first name basis. Just to finish up then, can you reveal, we've had statement, momentum, resilience, can we reveal what number 4 is going to be, or are we keeping that sealed?
I said it in the first paragraph of this interview.
Well, then we'll have to go and look back at that. I'll have a look, and there you go. There's the wink. That's the thumbnail sorted. But expect big things. December the 2nd, 9th, whenever it is. Yeah. Johnny Clark, top tier, in full motion.
In full motion, my friend. Obviously, titles, but titles are expensive, and people seem to think like in this small hall, like there's a lot of money. There's not. Like we're just doing the figures with Matt there. I've got a target on how many tables, how many tickets I personally got to sell before we even break even. I've had a successful meeting today with another sponsor as well. So like, I'm doing my thing, but anyone wants to come on, if you're willing to have 50-50s, take a good split, like a fair split, you're going to get a lot of exposure, you know, a lot of media, a lot of promos, good posters, you know, top quality stuff, but we have to draw a line somewhere. So if you're up for a good fight, obviously you've got to be rewarded. And like Marley and Tyrone and the rest have seen, you go up in the rankings quite high because you're showing bollocks and you're not fighting journeyman. So yeah, just come on board. Anyone listening wants to sponsor, come on board. Thank you to everyone that sponsored me already, because without them, these shows wouldn't be happening. You know, like there's a lot of money that goes into them, and that's why the quality's there. So thank you to everyone that supported, and the next one, yeah, now we're established promotion, I believe you're going to see big things.
Excellent. Johnny Clark, thank you very much for being to IFL TV, and I'll see you soon, mate.
Thank you for coming down again, Joe.
Cheers, mate.
To not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,